Jared with Henderson Products. Today we're going to make brine with our BrineXtreme Advantage unit, and this happens to have the auxiliary water pump skid due to a low water flow in this building. We have some nurse tanks that are filled in the off time, and those are feeding our auxiliary water pump skid. So we're simply going to turn this to automatic. We're then going to go over to our traditional controls on our BrineXtreme Advantage. And for this demo, we're just going to tell it we're going to make 1,000 gallons. And we're going to go ahead and hit the start button. And as it calls for water, our auxiliary water pump skid will kick on and water will begin filling. And at that point, we'll add the salt and we'll get rolling. So here we go. So this is the working side of the hopper. We're putting the salt into here. Again, our freshwater bar is on the bottom, and this bar is positioned towards the bottom of the hopper. Therefore, we don't have the spray and the salt coming out. Most of the time, that is going to be under the salt pile. This unit does have a 4.6 cubic yard hopper. You can see we're rapidly dissolving the product already. This is a cross flow design, so the fresh water is induced in this corner. As it rises, it goes across the hopper, and then it waterfalls into what we consider the finished brine side. The floats are controlling, so the lower float is indicating we have safe water level to run the pump, and when the upper float floats, that will shut off the water to maintain a safe water level in the hopper. So on the screen you can see it tells us exactly what's going on. So we are returning because our salinity is only at 14.6 right now. And as we start producing, this will have a blue bar that comes across to tell us how much brine of the 1,000 gallons we requested is being made. And it's telling our average, once we start pumping the tank, of what our run is going to be for an average of salinity. So right now the lower float is on, so our fresh water would come in until it is satisfied. And then the top float, when the top float is satisfied, the water will shut off. And our pump is running because it is full of water. So we'll wait for this to come up to salinity, and we'll just continue adding salt, and we'll continue producing brine until we reach that 1,000 gallons. So on this particular machine and the way the customer is using the brine, we're telling it is acceptable from 22 to 26. So we just hit 22 for salinity. We immediately started going to storage. And now it's telling us how much we're producing. And you can see when we get above 23.3, the dilute valve actually kicks on, and it will self-regulate to bring that back down to 23.3 that we're asking for the eutectic temperature of the brine. So we're at 23.6, so we're diluting it down quickly. And in this short period of time, we've already produced 60 gallons of brine. And we've already got 2 yards of salt in it, so you can see how much we've burnt down already. So we've added 2 yards in. We've already gone through quite a bit. And we will continue adding salt as needed to produce the required amount. So again, as long as we're going to storage, we're coming out the valve, we're coming around, and then we've got a long pipe feeding our tank farm, and we're bottom filling all of these tanks at the same time. So that's a basic overview of the BrineXtreme Advantage machine. We're going to continue to link some videos in here showing you the operation and how the flow works, but we're continuing to produce to storage. We're at 205 gallons, and we're going to take you to a video to show you the layout of this machine. Any questions, concerns, or you want to reach out to us to help you with your project, feel free to reach out to HendersonProducts.com. Thanks again.